Hey, I'm Harry Mays, and based on the recent odds for Offensive Player of the Year, the Eagles' offense doesn't seem to be that explosive.
I'm Jason Martinez, and the NFL Combine has gotten an all-points bulletin put out for Louis DiBiase.
Probably trying out on the field for himself. I'm Marc Farzetta, and I crunched the numbers, people. So, yes, you should be afraid on how the Eagles stack up against the Packers, the 49ers, and the Rams when it comes to formations, under center, shotgun pistol, and play action, and how it will relate to the Philadelphia Eagles. All that and more in this edition of Locked On Eagles Squad Show.
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's the Eagles Squad. Everything Philadelphia Eagles every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the city of brotherly love. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Eagles Squad Show starting now.
And welcome once again to Locked On Eagles Squad Show. Like and subscribe to the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel, where our friend who's missing in action, Louis DiBiase, has you covered each and every day for your Locked On Eagles content. He is at the Combine. The working theory right now, Jason, he is passed out at the White Castle, probably too many sliders across from Lucas Oil Stadium. That's just the working theory right now. Do you have anything to add to that?
I hope so. I just hope he's okay. You know, I know Louis' dad. He's putting in the. He's our LeBron's on the ground.
That's
you know,
right.
like we got boots on the ground down there, and you know, I know he's down there working hard. And this is not like, I don't know Louis really well, but I know him enough to know that he's not down there just goofing off.
No,
he's down there to take in to take in the Combine, get some eyes on, get some information, and you know, really kind of start preparing for the draft.
He's probably getting a scoop. He's probably getting a scoop that'll be put out on his show. And he just said, you know, screw those other three guys. They can handle the squad show. I'm going to dig into this storyline that I've got. But I'll tell you what, I don't know about Louis for real, but that open that Farzy just gave was the longest open of Locked On Eagles history. I think it even surpassed a couple of mine.
Yeah, I beat you by 3 seconds. So the title is mine, Harry.
Almost as long as the State of the Union the other night.
Oh, God, politics. Oh, God.
That went over the total, too. You could have bet on that on Kalshi.
The only offense he left out was the run and shoot.
Hey-o. Next up was coming Veer. Was the next one coming up.
Oh, the Veer. I love that.
Here's what we got. Zach Ertz reunion, ? Combine eyes, offensive blend. We're going to talk about a smattering of different offenses that we're going to see in this Philadelphia Eagles season for this offense. And Nick Sirianni uses all the love on A.J. Brown. It sounded like a breakup, gentlemen, is what it sounded like. Now, I'm not flip-flopping. Jason, don't you put me in with the flip-floppers. A.J. Brown is still coming back, baby. Let me just say that. But before we
as
go
an opponent in week 11.
Yeah, right. Right. Here's the deal. We talked about the week. I like referring to it as the week ago press conference. Okay. The week ago, it sounds like a camp you go to in the summer. The week ago press conference with Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni and assembled media in the draft room down at the Eagles training facility, now Jefferson Health Training Complex, I believe it's called. It's perfect. Yeah. So they have this little meeting, and then the dual press conferences at the Combine, which is just standard. Then Howie goes on to Florio. Howie goes on Eisen. Howie goes on another platform. I don't even know which one, but it was just a different one. It might have been Barstool. I don't know. Then Nick's the very next day. Sirianni goes on Florio. Sirianni goes on Eisen. Sirianni goes on some other things. But all the while, Sirianni's message has just kind of changed a little bit. I think he saw the amount of flack he got for saying he can't guarantee A.J. Brown will be back and has now shifted it to a do no wrong statement of, wait for it, Harry, you'll love it. Let me tell you something. I love A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown, the player. I love A.J. Brown, the person. The locker room loves A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown. Harry, it's shifted to a love fest now, which does remind me, unfortunately, which is why I go back to my original statement. I still think he's back, but it's taken a hit. My confidence
Oh,
because it sounds like a breakup. It now sounds like the hint of, oh, I don't know what the future holds kind of thing. Like, I can't guarantee. To, let me tell you all the things that's great about you right before I tell you I never want to see you again. You know what I mean? That's kind of why it takes a bit of a hit.
You couple that with Mike Vrabel, and his love affair for A.J. Brown. He did nothing to squelch any rumors of a trade possibility to be reunited with his former coach, who's now at New England. And of course, they could use an upgrade at that wide receiver position. And, it just seems like everybody involved in this thing is not doing anything to make it go away. And then people want to yell at us for talking about it because, I'm sure talk radio in Philadelphia, that's a big topic today on both of the stations. And the reason is because the guys who could put an end to it do not.
They don't want to.
Yeah.
No,
why not? Why don't they want to?
No, you keep the door cracked at all times, because if somebody comes in and wants to blow you away with an offer, you'd leave the door cracked enough to allow them to be able to get that offer in. You're not looking to trade them. There's like a guy like A.J. Brown at this point in his career is not untouchable. He's but you got to blow him away. You're not looking to trade him, but you will in the right scenario. And to me, what Sirianni was doing didn't give me those vibes like they gave you, Mark, of
breakup.
Like dreaded vote of confidence, which means I'm getting rid of you tomorrow.
Yeah,
it
right.
gave me more of it was a slight overcompensation for correcting the mistake of saying that A.J. Brown isn't definitely coming back. I think when it's the NFL, there's an assumption that everybody, for the most part, isn't guaranteed to come back because contracts aren't guaranteed. I mean, if you thought anything, Carson Wentz was guaranteed to come back at one point, and he didn't come back because of the money hit. And
they literally guaranteed him and then drafted his replacement.
Yeah. I mean, they signed him to the deal and drafted his replacement and eventually take the biggest money cap hit in the NFL history. So I don't think
set a precedent that move. That deal set a precedent, right?
And that you see other teams actually having the stones to do that, Harry.
Yeah,
because they know they can survive it. So yeah, I think you'll always leave that crack in the door open. You don't get the little chain thing and put it on the door in the hotel and the do not disturb with the late checkout time when you get in, like Louis did today. But you just leave the door cracked. If you want to toss in an offer, and really blow us away, we'll think about it. But we're not actively shopping. We're not calling around saying, hey, do you want A.J. Brown? Do you want A.J. Brown? There's several variations of the possibility of a guy leaving, and he's kind of in the diet version of being available right now.
All right, I like that, the diet version of it. Yeah, I like we were saying on Tuesday, I hate the idea of a GM just not taking calls on anyone. Like for me, I don't believe in untouchables. I know that there are people that are a lot more untouchable than others, and A.J. Brown is one of those guys. But if you're Howie Roseman, are you really going to hang up on another GM when they might have the offer that's really going to move the needle for you? Are you really, first round pick, second round pick, both of those, whatever. If A.J. Brown, are you going to just hang up on that guy? No, if guys are hanging up on other GMs, then those GMs are not doing their job. It's very simple. So that's why it's a very safe thing for Howie Roseman to say, yeah, I'm not hanging up on anybody. He's not pushing him out the door either. And it's the same thing for Nick Sirianni to say, I can't guarantee he's going to be back. And I think it was also a shift in what he said, not just because of an imminent breakup, which again, I don't believe in, but it does push me more to that side of it. It could just be saying it could just be Nick Sirianni saying, I'm just going to say I love him because no one can say that's wrong. There's nothing you can say that's wrong with me saying, I love the guy. Like that means nothing about the future. It doesn't even mean much about the present. It just means about the player right now in terms of what he can do for an offense. And it also means your feelings to that player. That's all it means. Yeah. I could do no wrong if I say love.
And that was public messaging to A.J. Brown. That was for an audience of one, and the audience is A.J. Brown. Yeah, we love you, man. We want you. You're great. You're going to be awesome in this new offense, blah, 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 blah. one of the things that I have really kind of dug in on is finding out kind of the modus operandi of GMs. And one thing I have found out in my research and talking to guys more in the hockey side of GMs is a lot of times when a GM is called about a player, a deal ends up being consummated, not even about the guy they called about. It's just we can't come together on that deal, but maybe we can help each other out in another way. And it just keeps a line of communication open. And sometimes it takes multiple, it took 2 years for the Flyers to get the deal done with Trevor Zegras. 2 years for him to devalue enough for them and whatever. And that's how it got done. So these things are long term. I think we looked at, fans look at it a lot of times as like the GM job is like you call your buddy, like you do in fantasy sports, and you throw together a deal real quick, put it through your commissioner in your email league, and it's done. Like that's not how it works in the NFL. So look, sometimes deals do get done really quick, but yeah, the door's open there. I don't think anybody's untouchable. Well, the closest thing to untouchable in sports is the quarterback position of a bona fide stud, like when Brady played, or you got a few guys in the league right now that are that way. I think the more untouchable thing is that some coaches are untouchable more than players now in sports.
Yeah, you talk about untouchable. I mean, he's, I'm just looking at these offensive player of the year odds. He's the 13th wide receiver according to the odds.
Yeah, that's touchable.
So there's 12 receivers ahead of him in the odds for it. Now that tells you that, I mean, I don't want to make too much of it, but it's the information I got yesterday, and I found it kind of interesting. Like, he's 66-1. Now he's not going to win offensive player of the year. Nobody ever thought that anyway. But to know that 12 wide receivers come before him on that list, what does that say? Does that say more about, the Eagles offense in general coming up this year with a new coordinator and a whole new system? Or does it say, where AJ is in the pecking order amongst his NFL, colleagues? Like, has he fallen that much? Because we had talked about him right up there with Jamar Chase, sort of like maybe a half a rung below Jamar Chase, who is the number one wide receiver in these rankings, in the odds. And according to one casino, and I'm sure they're pretty much all going to line up pretty similar, maybe one off, positive or negative, but he's got quite a few guys ahead of him now.
Well, it goes to what you were saying on Tuesday, I think, Harry, is that if you do bring in the McVay, Shanahan style offense, that ball is going to be spread around a lot, even more so than what we've seen in years past with the Eagles. I mean, let's look at this before. You're talking about 2,000-yard receivers multiple times. You're talking about multiple 1,000-yard running backs, in some cases 2,000-yard running backs, So It's not one guy dominates in the offense. And if they do start initiating a lot of the things you see in these other offenses that they want Sean Mannion to replicate, then that ball is going to be spread around even more. So it's not going to be one guy putting up the numbers. Now, talent-wise, that's a whole other list, obviously. But in terms of production, to earn something like Player of the Year, that's where it might get, a little diluted.
Right, but that could also play into the idea of AJ and his agent saying, in this offense, you're not going to get the desired number of targets that we're both, looking for here.
Right. And what does that mean, Harry? That means in your next contract, you're not going to get the desired amount of money because you're not going to have the numbers.
Yeah. So you're also talking about a guy who's going to be 29 years old at the start of this season. So another year older for AJ Brown, which isn't old by any means, but it's certainly not, the spring chicken. But I want to throw these numbers to you guys real quick. It was part of my hour-and-a-half intro to the show here. Biggest differences. So I did go back and I looked at the Eagles, obviously. And I did go back and I looked at the Packers, and I looked at the 49ers, and I looked at the Rams. Again, Shanahan McVay offense that Nick Sirianni told the week ago press conference reporters, this is the offense. These are the offenses that he was most interested in. The McVay Shanahan offense, 49ers and Rams. The Eagles and 49ers ran the same amount. What if I told you they ran the same amount of play action plays in 2024? The Eagles and 49ers. Would you believe me if I told you that?
That's crazy. It doesn't feel like it.
No,
right? It doesn't.
No.
Now, here's what I don't understand. Now, the Eagles, if they run RPO, I don't know if they're counting that as a play action. Okay, they probably are. So the 49ers ran 129 plays out of play action last year, as did the Eagles, 129 plays. The Eagles had the fewest plays, not shocking, under center by far. Packers were 13th, 49ers were 6th, Rams ran the most under center last season. The Eagles were 27th in the league. So if you're looking for anything that's going to be a huge change for the upcoming season, it's going to be the fewest plays under center last year. You might see that jump up to middle of the road, like the Packers were last year, where Sean Mannion's coming from. I doubt very much you'll see it in the top 10 or top 6 as the 49ers and Rams were last year. So that was under center.
Good. That's the thing I bitched about the most last year, I think.
What was that? Under center?
The lack of under center play, because the numbers belied how much better they were under center than they weren't under center. And you would see them in a game go under center for a drive and move right down the field, run the ball. And then we wouldn't see it the rest of the game. It was either that or waiting till the fourth quarter to target A.J. Brown. They were my two main gripes of last year, week in, week out.
Now, is there any, I'm not asking, I don't know that you have this, Mark, but was there a breakout of, when you say the Niners, Mac Jones versus Brock Purdy? Because Purdy only played in 9 games in the regular season.
Yeah, it's a great point. That's a great point. No, there was not broken out from what I saw. No, I went to Next Gen Stats, and it just had the team numbers essentially out of that. But that's a great point to bring up there. Pistol, this was shocking to me. Out of the pistol, the Eagles actually ran that 7th most in the NFL, which I found a little interesting there. They ran it 70 times. The Rams ran it 9 times last year. So big discrepancy between those. The Packers, ironically enough, were just ahead of the Eagles. They were ranked 6th. The Eagles were ranked 7th in the league in terms of pistol offense. So that was wild. The 49ers were ranked 23rd in the NFL. They ran it 27 times. So that would be another huge difference. Now, the reason I point out these huge differences like under center or pistol, for instance, if you're A.J. Brown and you want a different look, if you're A.J. Brown and you want to be convinced that things are going to be different with this offense, going to be a different style, you're obviously going to look at route tree and how often they use it, but you're also going to be looking at just basic formation here as well. So this would be a big sign that things would look different on the offensive side of things. Play action, again, is just that huge difference there. The Eagles and the 49ers, bottom tier. Packers are in the middle of that with they're 12th in the NFL in that, and the Rams ran more play action than anybody, 219 play action plays last season. So those are some pretty huge differences. Also, play action, another thing for A.J. Brown to look at, saying, oh, you might catch a defensive back off guard, peeking in the backfield, looking at a play action, as opposed to being concentrating on jamming him at the line of scrimmage, so to speak.
Double move them too, and wide open out of play action. Play action doesn't only works though if
you got
run the ball effectively.
If teams seriously honor your run game, and you would think they get back to that with Saquon, that defenses would. But the other thing that those offenses, you said, Green Bay, the Rams, and the Niners, they do a lot more scheming to get wide receivers open. It's not they run
specific, right.
They'll run Nakua, along the line of scrimmage, and he'll cut through the line of scrimmage and stuff, gets lost in the shuffle. All of a sudden he's like, the Eagles never did stuff like that.
No.
It was like
they'll run with Puka Nakua. Yeah, the Rams will run with Puka Nakua.
Right.
And like all that is part of not being predictable.
Right.
And that's all part of the scheme as well.
And wanting to get him the ball.
Yeah, it's so fast. Exactly. Like that was one of the things that really made me bang my head against the wall last year, especially when it came to Saquon Barkley. It was so clearly not working in the run game. And he was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, comparing to a year prior at an alarming rate, like literally going from like +8 to -2. Like that's not right. Like you shouldn't be getting hit behind the line of scrimmage like that. So if that's the case, where's your creativity as an offensive coordinator, as an offensive-minded head coach? Yes, I even said it at the time, Jeff Stoutland, run game coordinator. How are we going to fix this? and they never did. But later in the season, you started to maybe throw into Saquon Barkley a little bit more out of the backfield, because whatever it takes to put the ball in your playmaker's hands, you got to do. And the Eagles never fully shifted to make that change as an offense, with or without Stoutland in the meeting room, in the run game coordinating meetings. So that was something that I just absolutely lost it over last year, time and time again. So if you want to get the ball in the hands of a Puka Nacua, Jason, to your point, you also want to get the ball in the hands of a Saquon Barkley or an A.J. Brown if you're unable to, or Devontae Smith, or whoever your tight end is going to be next year. So that was a mind-numbing thing from last year.
Especially in space. I didn't even like how they used Saquon in the passing game last year. Like, oftentimes it was, boom, just a dump off to the left to Saquon. I'd like to see them have everything shifting to the left side of the field, dragging the defense there, fake like you're going to throw there, and then fake back the other way to the right and dump it off to Saquon, where there's open field for him to deal with and work his magic. Because we see his magic. Look, I mean, he's leaping over guys. He spins off guys. Like that's where he's magical. But no, they would just dump off into, road grading, blocking. And it would get you a little bit, but it wouldn't get you the huge chunk that you could, the 40 to 60-yard play that he is still clearly capable of. So that was that lack of there was a lack of creativity in the way they did things, even when they were trying to get creative and force the ball to somebody like Saquon in open field. But look, with Mannion and Grizzard, we'll see what we see this year. We'll see how creative they are. Are these guys, drawing up plays with crowns, or do we got ourselves a fine, artist here putting stuff together like a Van Gogh, something like that.
Right. Like maybe a Picasso. Maybe it's more abstract. I don't know.
Yes,
keep us guessing.
Yeah. The others,
we need a Sistine Chapel.
Yeah,
that was Picasso, right? He was was that abstract?
He was abstract. Yes, Van Gogh was an impressionist.
Yes.
He did a great Christopher Walken. Oh man, his Christopher Walken was so good. Anyway, sorry, I apologize. All right, when we come back, we're going to get into the offensive blend that we could see a little bit more of that. Also, from that Rich Eisen interview, Nick Sirianni's love of detail, not only A.J. Brown. And he has rehearsed a line in the offseason about Jalen Hurts. We'll give that line to you when we come back. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show on Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Back after this. And right now, I'm going to tell you about the incredible people right now at FanDuel. And I hope you guys are having a great time with FanDuel and all they have to offer, because FanDuel's got you covered, especially you NBA fans out there. Oh, my goodness. FanDuel wants you to go to the NBA Finals. You want to go there live and in person? Always dreamed of going to the NBA Finals? Well, they can make it a reality. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board right now and thinking, who's going to make it? Maybe now's the time to lock it in. Love futures this time of year, especially when it might start to come in a little bit more clear who's going to make that run in the postseason. We're after the trade deadline now. Who's going to get that hot run in them? Who's going to come out of the East? Who's going to come out of the West? Go into FanDuel right now and lock in your vote. FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Download the FanDuel app. Use Profit Boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Gentlemen, I got to say this. Remember during the draft and COVID, and Nick Sirianni was talking about how he played rock, paper, scissors with people? Remember that?
Yeah. Rochambeau.
Yeah.
A little Rochambeau. Yeah. I loved it. I thought that was great. Like, hey, whatever you got to do to try to test somebody's, get a one-on-one competitive. You can't shoot free throws. Right? You can't play a game of knockout or pig or whatever, or horse. Not going to happen. So he did that. And people made fun of it at the time, and I get it. It is funny. It's out of the ordinary. But, hey, do whatever it takes to try to test these players. Apparently, Nick Sirianni still very much remembers his foul shot routine. And he actually asked Rich Eisen what his foul shot routine was during the interview. And Rich Eisen just goes, I have no idea. Like, I don't remember worth anything what my foul shot routine was. But it's about the detail. And he said one of the reasons he remembers it is because of the detail that went into his foul shot routine. He said Sean Mannion, what he brings to the table is this great attention to detail and this rhythm that he brings as a former player, as a guy that's been a coach for a very brief amount of time. You could just tell that the detail is of the utmost importance to Sean Mannion. So then it goes to what to expect overall from this Eagles offense and if Jalen Hurts can actually run what it is that they want to do. We just pointed out the numbers in under center. All the reports are out there about Jalen Hurts not wanting to do it. But Nick Sirianni he said yesterday exactly what he said at the end of the season, which is Jalen is willing to do whatever it takes to win football games. Harry, I'll ask you first.
And he could play in any system.
That's
what he said.
Have you heard him? He could play. That's what he said. I don't remember that he could play in any system. I remember a willingness to play in that.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that I believe. Yeah. Okay. That I believe. Do you believe that Jalen is willing to do whatever it takes to win, or do you believe that Jalen has a box? He wants everything to be in. Anything outside that, no go.
No, I don't think he has a box. I think there, like every player, there's ways they prefer to go about what they do, and I think that's where he falls. I think he's a team first guy in every sense of the word. And if Sean Mannion and Nick Sirianni and Grizzard and all the coaches on the offensive side of the ball want him to do more work from under center, I think he'll do it. I don't think he's an obstinate guy in any respect.
All right. The other term is Carson Wentz 2.0. Do you think he's a Carson Wentz 2.0?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. I'm with you on everything you just said. Jason, do you think he is an in-the-box guy, don't go outside, or do you think he's willing to expand his horizons?
No, I think he's willing to expand his horizons. I think he's more in the vein of, I don't care what you want to call it or what I have to do. I just want to win. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's concerned about his stat line either.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I think he's more of a guy that the only stat line that matters is the one on the scoreboard at the end of the game. Doesn't have to be pretty. None of those things. I think that's what motivates him, is that hatred of losing. So some guys, play inside that box. Some guys say, "Oh, I'm an out of the box thinker." It's the most in the box thing to say that you're an out of the box thinker, by the way.
Right.
I think for Jalen Hurts, I don't think there is a box. I think it's just kind of, I got to do what I got to do, take what's given to me. And I thought he got a little conservative last year at points with putting the ball in peril because of the turnovers. But other than that, I don't think there's any kind of concerted effort by him to say, I need to play this way. I demand it. No, I just don't think that's his personality.
But I think the conservative nature was a top-down approach. That came from the head coach.
I agree.
That was one of the major tenets of his coaching last year. Was the first priority is to not turn the ball over.
Yeah, to win the turnover battle.
Such a thing, right? Right.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that changed after the bye week in 2024 when they went on to win the Super Bowl was don't turn the football over. Like, I think one of the last turnovers that he had was Levante David getting into the backfield in Tampa and knocking that ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands when Jalen should have had the wherewithal to go, oh, Levante David's behind me. Maybe not go with a full windup here so that ball doesn't wind up on the dirt,
Yeah.
And then they have the bye week, and we all know about committing to the run and Saquon Barkley. But the big thing for me was that Jalen didn't turn the football over. And, I do believe a big part of that came from Nick Sirianni. I also believe a big part of that came from Jalen Hurts himself, where if I just don't turn the football over, we're going to win this game. Our defense is good enough.
Right.
Our running back is on a historic run here, pun intended. We can do a lot of great things.
Yep.
Exactly. Special teams are great. We're good. Just don't turn the football over. So I'll say this. Yes, absolutely number one is winning. That's the only number Jalen Hurts truly cares about. But if there's a number two, the second most important number is whatever number comes next to TO, whatever number comes next to turnovers. That's the biggest number to him as well. When it comes to the score, whether or not you won or you're lost, whether or not you're 1-0 that day or 0-1 that day. After that, it's how many times did you turn the football over? And I thought too many times last year there were opportunities to air that football out, but he didn't want to put the precious pigskin in peril, so he played conservatively. And yes, I do believe that is part of Nick Sirianni's game plan. This next season, I think, is going to be a challenge to Jalen Hurts because I think they're going to rely on him a lot more. Yeah, the run game is going to be relied on as well, but I don't think it's going to be relied on at the rate that it was in 2024. They're going to look at their quarterback to win football games and try to thread that needle and try to throw over the middle and really expand what the route tree has been across the board from the Kevin Patullo year last year to what it will be under Sean Mannion. Yeah. So that for me, also on that same note, as far as Jalen not being in the box, we saw this credit to Nick Sirianni because he went down this path during the interview with Rich Eisen as well. And I've said this a million times. When you start banging the drum about Carson Wentz 2.0, that's where you lose me because these guys could not be more different, Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz. And the number one thing that separates them is the mentality. Mm-hmm. If you would have put Jalen Hurts in the shoes of Carson Wentz, going to be the MVP of the season in 2017 and then he gets hurt and Nick Foles comes over. I don't think you're hearing after a Super Bowl victory from Jalen Hurts saying, I don't want to do any of that Nick Foles type, I think he is going about it with a much better mental approach. So I think in that aspect, they're very different. The other is obviously one has done a lot more winning than the other in their NFL careers. So I think all that goes into the idea of I don't have to be the star of the show. I could be in the sidecar if we got something else dominating like Saquon Barkley, or if that's taken away, I can make the throws to win you a Super Bowl, which is exactly what we saw in that Super Bowl. Now it's a matter of whether or not this offense can get them back to that stature.
I mean, you see the way a team's built. Some teams are built to have to be risk averse. Some aren't. You know what I mean? Some of them, when you have a running game that's getting you 2,000 yards in a season and an offensive line that dominates, and you had the tush push, which made it 1st and 8 pretty much every time. I think that part maybe is part of the equation too. Why put the ball in peril when we're going to control the game, control the clock, and all those other things without having to do that? So you can be risk averse. But if you don't have some of those things, then you got to add that to it. And look, sometimes that may cost you. You may not win a game because of it, but overall, it's going to keep defenses more off balance because you're doing more things. You're putting the ball in different places, and ultimately, that's the way you have to win as a team constructed that way. Every year, the team is different in how you have to attack the opponent. And some years you got to be risk averse. Some years you got to be a team willing to put the ball up. And some quarterbacks, that's their whole career.
And he's going to have to be willing to put the ball up in a lot of different ways, I think, if they're going to run the offense that I think they're going to run, because much of it in the past game is predicated through run after catch opportunities where you're throwing to a spot where a guy is in motion. He's going to, you're like a point guard, putting the ball out there, let him catch it on the run and make a play down the field after the catch. That is not a hitch route. Okay. You know what I mean? You're going to a spot, you're going to a landmark, and you're basically turning around and the quarterback throws it to that spot. That's not what this offense is going to be. So I'm excited to see it, but he is going to be asked to do a lot of sort of different things.
And they got two guys, if they have A.J. Brown, in Brown and Devontae Smith.
Oh, yeah.
That could be really good run after the catch guys.
Absolutely.
If you hit them in stride. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as far as this relates back to A.J. Brown, I think if he looks at the numbers, he looks at and meets Sean Mannion and gets an idea of what he really wants to do, I think it's going to say a lot about the confidence the fan base should have in Jalen Hurts running the offense. If A.J. Brown does say, guys, I want to be here no matter what, we can have success. Or, you know how you told me to stay off Twitter? Not going to do that this year. You guys hired a coach that was here. That's been a coach for 2 years. Yeah, you guys looked at Kevin Patullo and said, this guy doesn't have any experience. What do we do? Okay, how about this? How about less experience? What do you think? I think that's going to be a huge hint to the fan base as to what they can expect from this offense in the very near future. So
I think if he's here, we have to go under the guys that he has been sold and bought in. Otherwise,
absolutely.
I think that to me, that's like the tell.
Well,
if he's here, he's been sold.
That, or they just didn't get enough to warrant eating $72 million in dead cap money.
Well, I think you'll know that by the way he sounds and the way he talks.
Because
by the way, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You finish that point about AJ Brown.
No, because between he and Dallas Goedert, there's $92 million in dead cap money if they don't come back.
Good.
So I mean that's a hell of a lot. Therefore, I don't see both of those guys gone. It's $20 million on Dallas Goedert's contract, believe it or not.
I thought he was in the last year of his deal.
I just looked it up. He
was in the last year. He did do the 1-year deal, but there may be a dead money.
There's like a structuring deal. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
Boy.
This is some of this magic that Howie pulls with
that nobody pays attention to until it's
$92 million in dead cap money.
Right.
Yeah. But real quick, while you're doing that, Harry, at $43.4 million dead cap money, but that's over 2 years. You're talking about $27.2 million dead money in 2027. So, that's a lot of dough. And that's obviously before June 1st. After June 1st, they could save some moolah on that. But, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like guy says here, Goddard's a free agent, bro. Yeah, I know, but there still can be dead cap money. The way you structure these contracts.
There is a cap hit, so I don't know.
Phantom money. There was
these things in way like I don't even know how he structures these things.
Yeah, well, he is a wizard, as we all know,
doing all kinds of gymnastics.
And if you're talking about, I know you brought up Ertz, who's not going to retire. I guess he just doesn't want to go out as an injured player, and he was having such a good end of his career, so he's going to come back to somebody. I guess he's not a run after catch guy
anymore,
especially at this point in his career. He never was.
No,
that was the one. That was the one knock. That was the only knock you could really ever put on Zach Ertz, was that he didn't make plays after the catch.
I'll say it a million times. Most underappreciated Philadelphia athlete ever.
Yeah,
Zach Ertz.
One of them, definitely. Yeah.
I'd love to hear another, but I've racked my brain and I'm just like, game-winning Super Bowl catch, touchdown in the Super Bowl. Nobody remembers it. Yeah. One thing you're talking about hearing from AJ Brown and what he could say and all that stuff. The other part of this too is that I know a lot of people want to hear from Sean Mannion, and I know a lot of people have talked about it. They don't do that. The Eagles don't do it. And if you need an example, no.
Because I coordinators available.
Nope. Not until minicamp or
OTAs.
Maybe rookie camp.
Huh.
So
I really want to hear from him because I'm
so do I.
Oh, yeah, because if they were so blown away by him, I want to be blown away. I want to know what all this greatness is all about.
Hell yeah.
I want to make up my mind based on how he handles that first press conference. Like I did with Peterson. Yeah.
I thought I had the same thought. What if his first press conference is like Nick Sirianni? Yeah. Like what? This guy? Really?
Yeah.
But Doug couldn't have sounded like a bigger boob at his first press conference.
I know.
It's the worst press conference I've ever seen. Zero.
It was horrible.
I know I just said two extremes there, but it's the worst.
But that proves that it doesn't matter because there's two instances where the winning the press conference doesn't mean squat.
Yeah. Well, it might buy you a month. That's about it.
Right.
You don't get a student odd meter for a couple of weeks.
There you go. I will say this though, for the people the perfect example for the people that do want to hear, I want to hear from Sean Mannion. Don't get it twisted, but I'm just saying the Eagles don't do this, so don't expect them to do it. The perfect example is Vic Fangio. Who didn't want to hear from Vic? We all wanted to hear from Vic Fangio. The Vic Fangio news broke, if you remember, during the end of the year Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni press conference. They're literally talking to the media about the defensive coordinator going to be in charge of the defense, offensive coordinator in charge of the. Meanwhile, everyone's phone's going off in the press conference, and they're looking at their phones, being like, Adam Schefter's reporting that Vic Fangio is out in Miami and he's headed here. We don't know anything about that. And even in that moment, it wasn't like they were going to talk about it, obviously, but they weren't going to announce Vic Fangio having a, hey, meet Vic press conference. This is a guy that was coaching the Philadelphia Stars, killing a basket of chicken wings at the Palladium, and still the Eagles weren't having him address the media to talk about what his intentions were with the defense going forward. So they're certainly not going to make Sean Mannion available anytime sooner than OT. Like, talk about winning the press conference. I listened to Sean Desai's press conference when he was introduced, and that was it was either mini camp or rookie camp, whatever it was. And I listened to this guy. I'm like, okay, it sounds good. He won the press conference. Good for him. Didn't even make it through the season as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's the thing. The difference, though, is Vic Fangio, we had a ton of resume that we already saw from him, both as a coordinator and a head coach. So we knew the personality of Vic Fangio. I couldn't pick Mannion out of a lineup, of him and Harry.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I want to hear his philosophies from his mouth.
Yeah.
Not from, the salespeople, the sales team around him. I want to hear what he has to say and what he's going to say when asked, how would you use A.J. Brown? What do you see for Jalen? Where's the strengths? What can you do with Jalen Hurts that you haven't seen another coordinator do? I'd love to hear that stuff from him, but we're not going to.
Yeah,
at least not now.
Later. Yeah, and I know people got all the questions in the world. It's just not something the Eagles have traditionally done. I'd love for him to break that tradition, but until then, we're just curious, and we're going to have to hear from everybody how brilliant he is and all that.
Maybe if we just stop talking about the Eagles, they'll go, nobody's talking about us. We need to make him available. Get us back.
Good luck with
back on the front page.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I like that strategy. Bold strategy.
The Phillies would have to win their first 30 games of the year for that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
The Flyers
have to win in the conference finals, and the Flyers are in the conference finals.
Yeah.
Then
Flyers
the
have
Eagles
to win 3 in a row. Flyers have to win 3 in a row.
Oh, that might be tough right now.
Yeah.
I kid. I also, Jason, not that it's necessarily from the Flyers. It is the same organization, though, I get a paycheck from. So let's go Wings, baby. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we come back, I want to talk about some guys we might be looking at the Combine. Also, the potential of a Zach Ertz reunion. We'll talk about that and more on this edition of Locked On Eagles Squad Show. We'll be back right after this. And right now, I want to tell you guys about Indeed and all that is going on at Indeed and Indeed-sponsored jobs. And if you guys are looking to post your job, Indeed is the way to go. Workplace chaos. Oh, boy, can it be chaotic. Deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and one position that you still have to fill. It ain't filled yet. Indeed-sponsored jobs is what you need to look into. Indeed-sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. Skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping that the right candidate just stumbles across your post. You know the right candidate is going to see your post. Now, how about this? Just in the brief time I've been talking to you about Indeed-sponsored jobs, companies like yours have made 27 hires in this brief time on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed-sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check all the boxes with less stress, less time, and more results. It's called efficiency, baby. When you need the right person for your job opening and you don't want the chaos, Indeed-sponsored jobs. It's where it's at. Listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves. Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on Locked On Eagles Squad Show. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed with Indeed-sponsored jobs. Harry, when it comes to the Combine, it comes to the draft, do you have a number one spot you're looking at? Improvement, offensive line, edge rusher, wide receiver, tight end. Where are you at when it comes to the number one need of the Eagles football team that they could help through the draft?
Well, it's probably going to be edge rusher might be their number one need, along with the third cornerback. But when you have the first two cornerbacks that the Eagles have, that puts that third, maybe not a first round guy, but I would say edge rusher, because it looks like, you're seeing that, Jalen Phillips may end up getting a lot of love from some other teams, and the Eagles may not be able to keep him, even though they want to. I would say edge rusher would be the number one need.
Mm-hmm. I go tight end.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one too.
I think in this offense, you're going to be spreading the football around so much that, and look, they don't have a tight end right now. I mean, that's the other part of this. It bleeds into the idea. It's like, I'm not looking at Zach Ertz to come here and be a number one. I'm just looking for Zach Ertz. If he's your number two, if he's your number three, that's great. I think you're off to a great start, at least knowing that you have a tight end that can run a route and catch a football, has got good hands, and has been killer in the red zone. So for me, that's why I like the idea of Zach Ertz potentially coming back to Philadelphia. They have a need. He has the talent. I'd love to see it happen. And yes, on a distant down the line, it's a nice story. It's a nice story to think about him and Lane Johnson getting drafted together in the same draft and then both finishing their careers here in Philadelphia. That would be awesome. For one final season, 14th season for the both of them, that'd be great. But the other position I look at here for the Eagles, and it was a big problem I had last year, the offensive line depth just wasn't there. And I don't like to, believe it or not, I don't like to overreact, but when Matt Pryor comes in the first game of the season for Lane Johnson, man, I knew we had to get used to a world where money was being spent on a linebacker. I knew we had to get used to a world where money was being spent on a running back, but no offensive line depth. That was rough, especially as the season started with Matt Pryor. And then eventually you get Fred Johnson up and running again. And then, you know what, Brett Toth, they got to give him credit. Center versus guard, he was much better as a center. So at least they had some depth at that spot. But man, I think they go offensive. I think they go offensive line. I think is going to be their first round pick. Then I think they're going to go tight end in the second round. And then I think they're going to look at edge rushers later on in the draft. Now I know that there's more depth, I think, in this draft at offensive line. So maybe that makes them go edge rusher.
Well, there is an edge rush too. This is a big edge rush draft.
Okay. So maybe that gets spread out as well.
Yeah.
Look, these are just two things that we're used to the Eagles having a plethora of. And then really over the course of the last two seasons, or excuse me, the course of this past season, no, it unfortunately has not proven to be the case. So those are two things that I'm looking at, really three things, including tight end.
But what if they bring Goddard back? What if they bring him back?
I'd love for it to happen. I don't think that he had the huge year in the red zone. He was great, but
touchdowns. He had a lot of touchdowns.
What did he finish with? 11 touchdowns on the season?
11,
12?
I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he had 11.
He broke the record. I believe he broke the record for the Eagles, but I'd love to have him back. I don't know if he's priced himself out. Similar to Jalen Phillips, I wonder if Jalen Phillips is going to have some sort of Fangio discount here. I wonder if Dallas Goedert's going to have some sort of, not even hometown discount, but do I even want to change? Like, this is a guy that took $4 million less, although had it guaranteed on a $10 million deal this last season. Is he going to be willing to drop off of that? Because I think he can get more than that. I know he can get more than that, the $10 million this past year. He could be looking at the $14 million, $15 million a year elsewhere, if not here in Philadelphia. So are the Eagles willing to go that direction when they're looking at Jordan Davis? They're looking at Jalen Carter. I know that's defense, but it's all the same pocketbook. That's what makes me curious, is to see whether or not they'll be able to bring Dallas Goedert back. If he really wants to be here in Philadelphia, I think they make it happen. But if he is entertained by what else could be out there, if he is thinking, hey, I already took the $4 million discount, I don't want to have to do that again, I want to make my money, then this might be the opportunity for him to do that.
Yeah. We do have communication from Louis DiBiase. He is alive.
Paying the tab at White Castle?
He is okay. He said, sorry, guys, I got caught up at the convention center with some locked on stuff. My bad. So he's working. That's what I thought he'd be doing. I
bet you they have those like carnival football games where he could like throw the ball through the hoop or whatever and win a stuffed animal or something. It's probably what he's doing.
So if he got caught up, did he get locked in too? Because he's still not here.
I know. Yeah, this was a while ago. So I'm expecting something big will be on his episode today. And
Okay.
he just decided he didn't want to give it to us.
How great would it be if we check out Locked On later and he's like talking to Howie Roseman? So here talking to Howie, seeing what's going on.
Well, that's the thing. You said who where they made the media rounds yesterday between the head coach and the general manager, and I'm like, why is anybody going on Florio's show? Number one, and Colin Cowherd needs to hire Florio's guest booker because he got both of them, and Cowherd apparently got none of them. How's that work?
Wow, is Cowherd there?
No, he's not there. He's.
Oh, okay.
No, but
he's in the studio in LA. Okay,
he's not in LA anymore. He moved to Chicago. He's only in LA. He was only in LA during Super Bowl week. They flew him back out there for a couple of days. He wasn't at San Francisco. He was in LA, but he moved to Chicago.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
now there's a comment here on the first comment is puzzling to me.
What do you got?
Todoro 26. I hope I'm saying that correctly. He says, Harry, do you think Rob Cherry is stealing your on-air personality, being a crumb? Now, you guys have worked with Rob. First of all,
spell his name right.
Yeah, it's Cherry. Yeah, not Cherry. That's in the fruit. Yeah. But that's news to me.
No, Rob's been a miserable since birth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe Rob's first words were, really? I think that, yeah. So,
and
I don't know. I don't
tell
put
you that
the
dressing, the way that Rob dresses versus the way Harry dresses, far different.
Yeah, right.
Rob looks like he rolled out of a hamper.
Well, he's got the Canadian tuxedo on, doesn't he?
Yeah, the denim on denim.
Yeah, yeah.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Wow, these are memories that I haven't harkened back to in quite some time. Oh my God, I love Rob. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I've seen the man dance. That's the memory that's creeping back in my head.
He was our
loves
shop
Irish music.
steward.
Loves Irish folk music.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a Bishop's Collar guy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've been there.
My old neighborhood, man.
And Rob, and shocking to know that Rob was our shop steward.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he get into a little bit of a joust with Brace at the Bishop's Collar?
Brace pulled a "Do you know who I am?" on him.
Yeah, I remember
and Rob
that.
said no. Yes, that's very true, Harry.
Yeah, that's right.
Tom Burns said to the cab driver, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah, that was classic.
Yeah,
just classic.
I forgot about that. Wow, that's that's pretty funny. Was Sean being funny, or was it like a tense moment?
No, I think it was a tense moment.
Yeah, he was giving Rob the Fanatic at the time was still on just AM, I believe, Harry.
Yeah,
and Sean was trying to make a name for himself, and he kind of went after Rob at the bar a little bit.
Yeah,
giving him some guff.
Yeah,
guff. And and they got it to Rob Tourneau back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Now I see the Eagles. There's a chance that they may play a game in London again this year.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done with that. Yeah,
take that week off, Harry.
Well, they gave out the home teams for the London games, and they're Washington, of course, which is on the Eagles' schedule on the road, and Jacksonville is a road game for the Eagles. So that would be a home game in London if it ends up being that. Could you imagine another Jacksonville and Eagles game? Wasn't that who they played in London a couple of years ago?
That's the Avonte Maddox, I think, fumble pickup. But that was no, I'm done. I'm done on the international stuff.
Oh, I hate the international games.
Yeah. We just had Brazil not last year, the year before.
2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago.
I mean,
against Green Bay. Yeah.
Yeah. Rio de Janeiro.
I believe it was
Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo. That's right.
Say it right.
Come on. That's a Formula One city. You should know that.
That's where Interlagos is, Harry. At the Sena Esses. Of course, Interlagos in Portuguese means around the lake.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes. Retro de pastas a turn there, Harry.
That's not in and around the lake, like Roundabout, the lyrics of Roundabout. Okay.
No. From Yes, of course.
Yes.
All right. When we come back, break this down even further about what it means to circle a lake in Portuguese and other various languages from around the globe.
Did you know that's the home language of Brazil is Portuguese?
Yeah.
I did know that.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm not worldly? I'm like offended by that question.
That's a shot.
I didn't know if Luigi was checking in on the show or not.
Well, we do have one. This is great. Our man Todoro, I believe. All right. He breaks the news that Max Crosby's coming to the Eagles.
Louis gets that. Yes, exactly.
And holds it
Max
for
Crosby
his
right
show.
now.
Yes. Yeah. It's being embargoed until his show.
Yeah.
All right.
They brought him
Jason,
into the film room to tell him.
Yeah.
Jason's got a message for you about Home Chef. We'll be back after that. This is Locked On Eagles Squad show on the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Like and subscribe.
All righty. Let me tell you about Home Chef because as the new year is well underway, a lot of people, maybe in 2026, it's time to go, all right, let me simplify my life, simplify my routine and dinner. Well, that's a big one because busy work days, cold winter nights, and packed schedules, having an easy, reliable dinner plan makes a huge difference. And that's where Home Chef comes in. I got news for you. It may become an even bigger factor when it gets nice out. Home Chef takes the stress out of cooking by delivering fresh, pre-portioned ingredients right to your door with easy-to-follow recipes that actually taste great. Now, they're rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease, and it's easy to see why. Here's the deal. The meals come ready to fit your schedule. 30-minute recipes, oven-ready trays, or quick lunches. Over 30 weekly options, including family-sized meals and different dietary choices. And also, recipes are simple and feel elevated, like you're eating restaurant quality food with dishes co-created by chefs like Gordon Ramsay. Everything arrives pre-portioned, so there's less prep, less mess, and here's a big one, no wasted food. So you can save time and money. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. And for a limited time, Home Chef is offering the listeners of Locked On 50% off your first box, free shipping, and free dessert for life. Just go to homechef.com/lockedon. Again, that's homechef.com/lockedon for 50% off your first box, free shipping, and again, dessert for life. You must be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert.
Locked On Eagles Squad show. Today you got defensive linemen, linebackers, and I can't remember a time where they did this. Kickers. Going on at the Combine today. I believe that gets underway at 3 o'clock today. So maybe that's where Louis.
I like to see the kickers run the 40.
I'll tell you, I think the Eagles will have interest in that kicker tryout.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why it raised my eyebrows, because I know some people took some things away from Howie Roseman's actual press conference at the Combine, where he was a little skeptical maybe of Jake Elliott. I didn't get that sense, but some other people did. You read it the way you want to read it. But other than that, again, you got defensive linemen going on today. I don't think the Eagles are going to have a lot to do with that unless they are looking at specific DNs and not edge rushers, which does not fit the Fangio scheme. Linebackers as well, which does. And then kickers. Tomorrow, it's defensive backs and tight ends. That's another one I'll be paying attention to due to the tight ends. Saturday, they know what's what, baby. Saturday is the day for the sexies. Quarterback, wide receiver, running back, as per usual on the Saturdays. And then Sunday, everybody just likes to watch the big guys run. Offensive linemen go on Sunday. So that's the way the schedule is.
You're gonna have to watch that the tight end Sadiq from Oregon.
That's the guy, Harry?
Yeah.
The Oregon Duck?
He would be a guy, if he's available when the Eagles pick, they'd have to take him.
No, I agree. Kenyon Sadiq, yes.
Yeah.
If they're going to do a thing with the kickers, shouldn't they take it outside instead of doing it in the dome?
Yes.
Well,
like put them in the elements a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, can we fly them to Saskatchewan, Harry? Maybe Saskatoon, Harry?
Yeah.
See if they can kick off the frozen tundra of Saskatoon.
Right. With the wind blowing. With the wind howling.
Yeah, maybe you take them to the peg. They can go up there. If you can kick in the peg, you can kick anywhere.
Kick anywhere.
In closing, we've established A.J. Brown. We've established A.J. Brown as a Patriots fan. All right?
Yeah.
A Patriots fan texts the Patriots head coach. Is that off-putting to you, gentlemen? Mike Vrabel, as you said earlier, Harry, texting with A.J. Brown? What the hell's going on there?
They text throughout the year, apparently. Like just, he's like Vrabel saying he's so proud of the father that he's become. He's talking about stuff like life stuff with A.J. Brown. Like they have a real relationship. Like this isn't just, my former head coach. Yeah, I'll wave to him if I see him at the combine. No, these guys really talk. It's kind of, I didn't know that until I read what I read yesterday. So it is a little alarming to me.
I'm going to need a fine, and I need the Patriots banned from making trades with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I need.
Poison pill.
Yeah.
How far is
the Micah Parsons thing?
How far is Winnipeg from Indianapolis, by the way?
Winnipeg's just above Minnesota. The state line of Minnesota. It's not far.
Is that where it is?
Minnesota.
Not far. Maybe they do go to the Peg.
Near Bemidji.
Yeah.
This is such a cultural show, guys.
Bemidji State.
You went there, former Flyer.
Who?
Matt Reed out of Bemidji State.
Reader.
Yeah, Reader.
There you go.
Stepped into a 24-goal campaign as a rook.
Folks, we call that a program right there.
Wow.
That's Harry Mays. That's Jason Martinez. I'm Marc Farzetta. We're covering all the bases today. Louis DiBiase probably has something huge breaking later today on Locked On.
Yep. Max
YouTube
Crosby live on the Louis DiBiase show later today.
Making the announcement. I'm headed to South Philly.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Catch you guys next week. Bye.